It's good.
Sleeps better after wins.
Much better. Hell, I sleep better after the win.
Can you just talk about what it's like playing in this defense and how much you all have grown, up to this point?
Yeah. Especially coming from OTAs, man, it's just from the fine details of, just get off where your eyes are, the intensity, the expectation in general from what D'Amico wants. It's just all at an all-time high now because we understand, like, what's at stake, and we understand, like, how good we can be because we've seen it at times when we're pretty good. And obviously we have little lapses. That's when only teams – I feel like that's when teams really get their plays is when we're off our stuff. And obviously credit to teams when they do get these things. It's not knocking them at all. But from a schematical standpoint, for what we know we can do, it's usually on us in self-inflicted wounds. So once we clean those things up and play our best ball, which I still think we haven't done yet, it'll be a very, very good thing to see.
You said last week that it was up to the Broncos to come in here and match you all's
Right.
energy.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the mindset that you all had from the first snap on?
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that's kind of like, as I said it when the first part it was brought up. It was like, well, I mean, they're coming in our house. I mean, I'm pretty sure they got to match us. They got to bring their A game the same way we do, obviously, as well. But changing that narrative to make sure that we're controlling and dictating the tempo of the game and dictating the narrative of the game was something huge that we pretty much made it an emphasis during the week coming into it. But I think we answered that, and I think that obviously hats off to them. They still played a heck of a game and a very well coached team. But I think overall, we did win that physicality battle just because we from what they've shown on film and what they've been doing to teams, obviously on their 5-game win streak, they had to be these nitty-gritty teams. They had to get in these dogfight games to where they're making sure that they're imposing their will and showing that, hey, just because the records show XYZ at the time, whatever it was, it's not indicative of who they are. So it just made sure that we came in and had we dot our I's and crossed our T's on every aspect, but also make sure we brought that intensity and that physicality at the same point.
Speaking of dogfights, the crowded AFC playoffs.
Yeah.
The only thing you can control is try to win every week because it probably will be the way it's shaping up the last week of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to get these spots?
For sure, yeah. I mean, as we mentioned before, and then even week before going into that Jacksonville game, I mean, these are playoff games now. Just the teams that we're playing, despite records, whatever the case may be, I mean, these are all the teams that are still fighting and clawing to get a spot in the playoffs as well. So, excuse me, but definitely making sure that even though that was a great win yesterday, we had to basically just make sure that we on to the next one because we got a very good team as far as the Jets who are going to be nitty and gritty as well. I mean, we're going into their house, so like I said, the same thing about us when anybody comes to your house, they're going to bring it. I mean, every game you can watch them, they've definitely made sure that it's been a physical game. It's going to be one of those tough games. We got to be on our A game. But yeah, we definitely got to take that physicality up there too because as we know, these type of games can definitely haunt you if you let them get away from you.
JD, over the last month and a half, you guys have found different ways to win football games.
Right.
CJ spinning it, a drive at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Can you kind of take us through over the course of the last month if maybe there's a personal element from the defense's perspective that you said, you know what, CJ's been doing his thing, but we can close games out too. Is there an element of that that's taken place over the last month?
Yeah. Ultimately, whether they do good or whatever the case may be, good or bad on offense, we just make sure that we pretty much don't put them in situations to where they have to just go and score all the time. Obviously, the mission is and objective is to score every drive. But as you mentioned, we on defense have to take it upon ourselves. Say, hey, they don't have to score as much if we don't let the team score. If we pretty much hold this team's 2 field goals to no points at all, and we got a guy like CJ back there and obviously slow dialing it up. I mean, we're one of the best in the league, I believe. So on the defensive side, we just know that having that in our back pocket, understand that, hey, if we go out there and do our job, good things will happen. And as you've seen during the course of the game, I mean, you keep feeding them, things happen. So I just think overall, once we kind of knew what type of quarterback we had, it definitely makes you be more confident. It's not just a defensive line, but it's the defense as a whole because you know what you have on the back end.
We've heard from the defense, even as far back as training camp.
Sure.
CJ's pretty vocal.
Yeah.
Talk a little trash.
Yeah.
So I got to imagine it wasn't a surprise when
Right.
Singleton's in his face. CJ's not backing down.
Yeah. CJ, and as you mentioned, I mean, even as far as back there in OTAs, with him making certain throws, and we got our compete period where the ones are going against ones, and, we're talking. I mean, you got Petrie out there talking, you got Jimmy out there talking. CJ not finna back down at all. I mean, I didn't see that. I didn't even expect that coming out from him at all. So to see him doing that was not a surprise at all for me. To see him getting back in Buddy's face, I can't remember, was it 49 something like that, or 47? Singleton, right? Yeah. To see that, I mean, I wasn't surprised at all. I mean, CJ is a dog, but you're not finna come here. I mean, we grown men, and we're not finna come here and just stand for anything. So I think overall, to see him in the throws that he was making back during OTAs, and I kept mentioning before, like, hey, we're going to go as far as this team as this guy takes us. And obviously with our defense handling our part, it definitely gets you, like I said, that confidence. And he has that confidence knowing that we are, we have his back whenever any of those stuff come on. It doesn't happen often. I mean, but when teams step or anybody try to step to us, I mean, that's how we all come behind them.
Jonathan, you had so much success rushing the passer yesterday.
Yeah.
And did have as much success at Jacksonville. What is the key to a pass rush being consistent?
Yeah, it's just whatever the course may be. I mean, at times you can get there. Some games we have no sacks, we still get a dub. Sometimes you get no sacks and it's a loss. It's just a matter of how did you affect the quarterback and how did you affect the game. Sacks is kind of like this glorified stat. I mean, that is obviously, let's be real, that's what people get paid for, the DNs and the D linemen. That's just what it is. But ultimately, that does not define how good of a player is. I mean, of course, you should be able to get to the quarterback, and that's what's supposed to happen. But how are you affecting the game? Are you winning your one-on-ones in the run game? Are you winning your one-on-ones in the pass game? Or are you running the game right to open it up for somebody else? Or are you running the game right to open up for yourself? So it just didn't happen that way. I mean, as we know, Trevor at that time, I mean, even though we speaking 2 weeks ago, I mean, that gets the ball out as fast as anybody in this league. So that could play into it, but at the end of the day, we still got to win up front. So that way, even if he does decide to say, hey, I'm not going to throw the ball as fast as anyone in the league, and I hold on to a little bit, then we're right there. So, yeah, man, it's either be a good day in the office or it's not. I mean, it's just a sack. They come in bunches, and you can't play for sacks. You play for sacks, you end up losing, and then everything else, your intentions are in the wrong place, and it just doesn't go well for the defense. So the mission every week is to get sacks. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I just still think that we're still going to be the same people and the same players that just be disruptive in any aspect that we can.
JG, what went into you all's mindset and mentality during practice coming into this game? You all had 3 sacks,
Yeah.
3 turnovers, and did not allow them to get a third down conversion. Like, what was that?
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that third down stat. Wow, I didn't know that. But, yeah, but that literally – that speak for itself. If you're able to do that against a team like that or any team in general, you always set yourself up to win. I mean, anytime that you can, now you saying it's 111. I mean, now I just know from our defensive standpoint, what we finna hear in there is it could have been 0 conversions at all. Oh, it's 0 for 11. Oh, I thought you said 1 for 11. Oh, well, even then, we still finna go back and say, hey, we should have got off the field at second down. Let's just say that, but that's just the mentality that we have now. Well, just D'Amico's instilling, because, I mean, ultimately, if you look at the players and look at the plays that we do and the certain matches that we have, I mean, the opportunities are there. I mean, whether it's they came out firing first 2 plays or bombs. I mean, that could have been picks on both of them. I mean, that's obviously, it could have went either way, but it just the mentality that he's trying to build in this place is like, why not make the play now? Why not leave it in to third down hands or fourth down hands or, the offense hands? Why can't the defenses just completely just knock it out on the first down or second down? So I just think overall, like, that mentality is going to just help carry us and never get complacent and understand what we're trying to get done here and execute it here. And obviously just establishing that identity too, just who we are. I mean, if we can put that on tape every single time, that'll be awesome.
You talk about that glorified stat of sack.
Yeah.
You almost had one to end the game.
Yes.
And, I know that's something that you're going to look back on. But I don't know if you noticed or not, you're in the top 20 in sacks, and you're like maybe 3 out of being in the top 10. I know that personal accolades don't mean anything to you as far as the team goal is concerned. But, like, how do you look at that and saying that you're having such a productive year?
Yeah. Just because I just think overall, like, sacks, a lot of things have to go right. I mean, you can easily be a guy to just say, I'm going to just beat my guy and just blow through the line and get a sack without the help of, like, getting quarterback pressure or push from the front or another guy flushing them out. Like, like I said, it is a glorified set. Now, doesn't mean we don't chase it now. I mean, like, let's be real here. That's just – we're just going. That's our job is to win our one-on-ones and make plays, whether it's in the run game or the pass game. But overall, I just think that us doing our job and the back end and the coverage, whether they're sticky on coverages, being so close up on their guy to where he may have to pump fake one point, and that helps us out. And now it can turn into a coverage sack, or linebacker do that part, or D lineman. It just all of these things go right in a certain way for you to get sacks. And I've been in, like I said, I've been in this situation kind of before, and obviously being in it close to it a little bit last year, understanding how things can change when you play for sacks as opposed to just playing the defense and understanding letting things come to you. I think that's the main thing I've kind of done this year. Just do my job, do what they asked me to do, and let the chips fall where they land. I mean, at this point, I can't control if he's going to flush to me. I mean, at the sack that I had last week, I mean, just credit to Will bull rushing the mess out of, McGlinchey. I mean, literally had Russell to flush out, and I'm just running backside to chase him down to cover up with him just making a heck of a play on the front side, whether it's on the other side, if somebody's bull rushing him and Will cleans it up. Like, it's just feeding off of each other, and I think we do a really, really good job of that overall, and just feeding off of, Will popped it off early, got a sack real early, and now it made everything else come to us. Now they got to go and press a little bit, and we understood once we get them to those type of situations that we liked ourselves in that matchup.
I will close that question for you. We know it won't be Aaron Rodgers out. He's not eligible, even though he's obviously feeling better. Do you have to prepare for several quarterbacks because they could play any of them? I don't believe they made their announcement decisions. So when you guys do dig into the film, would you watch Zach Wilson? Would you watch all of these guys?
Yeah, I think overall, like we've kind of, we played them back in 21, I believe. So we kind of understand, well, at least in Malik, we kind of understand like how he wants to move in the pocket a little bit. Obviously, new offense in this sense, but we prepare for everybody. And we're going to watch last week's film because obviously that's the last thing they put on tape, obviously against the Falcons. But we're going to be prepared for anything. I mean, who knows? I mean, they're trying to figure things out, whatever the case may be. But we know they're still going to bring it. They're going to put their best foot forward moving forward. So it's not going to be a cakewalk. At the end of the day, I don't care who you line up out there. It's the NFL. You can definitely go get beat by anybody and any person who's throwing the football. We just got to make sure that we still be very physical and very dominant up front so that way we can make it uncomfortable for them, whoever it is back there, so that way it gives us the best chance to go out there and get a dub. Yeah. Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good one. Yeah.